Hey everybody, I'm Jay Martin. This is a Napoleon game. It's 2v2 on pyramids, and I know I've said this before, but this is just the Cadillac of maps for 2v2 play. I think hands down, this is the best 2v2 map in the game. It's got a good mixture of flat and terrain. It's got plenty of room to move around. It's got the big hill that kind of forced the issue. I just think this is the best map in the game for 2v2 play, especially. Hey, that's Marsh over there. He's playing GB. He doesn't have any Cav. Marsh hates Cav. He hates him. I think he was like molested by a horse or something when he was a child, so he refuses to bring Cav. Hey, that's me over there. I'm doing the same thing I normally do on this map, which is pretty boring. Got some infantry, got some melee, got some Cav, a little bit of everything. And we're playing against two players that are actually pretty decent. What I want to talk about in this game is I talk a lot about being a good teammate, and I think I don't go into detail about how to do that. So this is a good example of being of bad teamwork. This is a good example of bad teamwork. Teamwork is good. Teamwork is important, but you want to be good at your teamwork. And what we have over here is we have a GB player over me, opposite me, excuse me, and we have a Ottoman player. I want to take a little aside and talk about the Ottoman player's build. You notice they're playing this like they're a European faction. They have a bunch of light infantry, a bunch of line, and a bunch of cav. They're completely ignoring the strength of the Ottomans, which are their melee troops, and their light infantry is their weakness. So when you bring choose a nation, choose a faction, you want to play to the strengths of that faction, if the faction you're lucky enough to have any. The Ottomans certainly have a bunch of strengths, and it seems like this player is going out of their way to ignore them. So just a quick aside, all you Ottoman players, I know I talk a lot about the Ottomans and how groovy they are, but I don't think this is a very good build to bring the Ottomans. Back over on my side, this player is super aggro. I don't know if you can see that, but this guy is like running up the hill. And most players don't do this. And I was a little taken aback, honestly, when we were playing. He's obviously moving in his group. You can see his cav is way ahead. His general's way over there. But that's cool. And what I want you to look at, see these cav here that are moving over? That's teamwork. And that's good. See these cav guys coming over. So that's good. The cav is coming over. Now look at this from the bigger picture. Myself and this guy are really close. Marsh is way the fuck out there from this guy. So it seems like there's going to be an engagement on this area of the map long before there's going to be an engagement on that area of the map. Hence, this guy sending this cav over is a really good deal, right? Because they could cause an engagement here, and with the help of those extra cav units, just completely wreck me, and do that before these two armies even engage. Now, that's a really ideal situation. Most of the time, if you're playing like a 3v3, send some cav to your partner, you're at least fighting off the other guy. But this team has a golden opportunity right now just to beat the fuck out of me. All right, because this GB player is being really aggressive, and they've got this extra cav coming over, right? And this is kind of a weakness of Marsh's no cav thing. He can't send me cav. Now, he's trying to come up with that. You see these 3 units coming in this direction. All right, so I want to show you something here. Okay, there's the blue dots. Let's pause. On my left flank, I have a grand total of 1, 2, 3 line units and a meat shield. This guy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 line, a cav, and then 2 lights. So what is that? 9 infantry, a cav, and 3, companion cav from his partner. On this side, it's a little more even. I have 3 infantry in my, or I have 4 infantry in my 7 melee. So this flank, the balance of forces as we're deploying them seems to benefit me. But on this flank, it seems that they have a huge advantage if all this infantry can actually get involved. Now, I do have a bunch of cav floating around that I'm right now just in the game. I was trying to figure out what the fuck to do with them. And these guys also have the advantage of they got on the hill, so the elevation advantage. And they're going to get in position here. And, man, I just want to take a time out again and be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, Marsh actually told me to withdraw off the hill, and I think he might have been right. But this just looks like a disaster coming up for me right here. I make a huge micro mistake. I'll let you see if you can figure out what it was. Oh, I didn't click melee on my shooter cav. So what we have is on the left, or excuse me, on the right, this is the right side, I have 3 line against 4 his, plus 3 lights, so he has 7 infantry, I have 4 infantry and 7 melee. He has 1 cav here, so I should be able to clean up in this flank here. But on this flank, I am really, really weak. And you can see I'm trying to even the odds by I'm committing a lot of my cav this direction. Now, this guy has his cav here. The best case scenario is the GB guy, right now, if you have the elevation advantage, the companion cav from the ally Ottoman player here and the GB cav should be crashing straight down into my little collection of line here. I mean, this is my entire left flank, right? They should be crashing here. If I was playing this game, I'd be like, holy shit, charge cav, right? Even if he just gets me to square, he can shoot the piss out of me. I'll be pretty much doing nothing but holding a bag of dicks. But instead, this cav randomly goes this direction. What the fuck? I have no idea why this cav... Is it more cav coming? More cav reinforcement coming. And the complete ass kicking that I should have received, I'm able to turn around on him, and all of a sudden my cav is in their line. I'm trying to pull my cav back. Now, reality of any line engagement is you want to have the cav, if you have cav on cav fights, you want the cav fight to occur in their line. Like, look at this area right here. This is one of my cav in with 2 of their cav inside one of their lines. So even if my unit isn't doing a whole lot of damage, it's occupied 3 of their fucking units while my unit is shooting away. Now, he has this guy on my flank that I recognize as a problem, so I'm trying to give there. My partner has shown up, so that is relieving some pressure on my flank. But I gotta think that this attack down the hill should have been very fucking successful. And it wasn't. Now, I'm trying to pull his cav back through here. I try to get up squares and everything. I think I don't get a square there. And I think he's actually going to kill one of my units. And again, this is a pseudo-emergency cav charge just to get up into this line to halt this big attack. And the lesson I want to give out, or kind of what I'm thinking about this, is that I think that this team really had a ridiculous opportunity to crush this part of the map, and somehow they didn't. Like, they completely overwhelmed us here, and somehow they didn't. You missed the groovy part of the battle, which I could have done like a cinematic on, but this was me beating the right flank. Look at him run. Go, Ottomans. I really kicked ass in this part of the battle. You can see he's just running away right there. But the real tricky part of the battle was this left flank, and honestly, I probably should have withdrawn away from this earlier. Like, I should have seen, well, this guy has a fuck ton of units here. We should pull back. I didn't do that. I just tried to hold my ground until this guy, I could get through that direction. And what amazes me is I am kind of withdrawing here is I think I only lost my meat shield over here. So, there's a value. We saw a couple things there that, the failure of making the attack at a critical point. You got to attack at a critical point. You could maybe argue I attacked at a critical point here where I had overwhelming numbers. But then, I also threw a bunch of cav in to kind of blunt this guy's attack, and this is me withdrawing away. And you can see I'm withdrawing away, trying to form a new line here. And we've wrapped around the guy's rear and everything. So, anyway, I thought that was kind of an interesting part of a game. You'd think that the GB player there would have been, I understand that this is a tricky thing to control micro-wise if you're playing this, because you have assaults going this direction and this direction. So you have to control all of your units together. But I really think that the GB player could have won substantially more decisively there. And as he comes around, my Janissaries that I've pulled from the right get into play there. And now that I'm able to turn all my force around this direction, this guy's going to be in trouble. And just to prove my point about the speed of that, the fight over here is just now starting, and all of that Ottoman cav has been wasted. I really think that if that Ottoman cav had come down the hill, they would have done much, much better. And that's an example of, you're trying to be a good teammate, give cav to your opponent, but the same basic tenets apply. If you're going to do shit like that, if you're going to make an attack, you got to attack with overwhelming power at one particular point. Attacking is creating localized positional advantage, localized fire advantage. That's how you do it. So anyway, that was the game. I thought that was interesting. I thought that if this Ottoman player had made a different decision about where to send their cav, things might have turned out a lot different. This game winds up being a complete rout, but I thought this game was actually, could have gone the other way if they'd have made just one other decision. If that Ottoman player had sent his cav down, I think this would have been a much, much different game. So anyway, I'm Jay Martin. Thanks for watching, and I'll try to get some more videos to you in a bit.